All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Swamp. It's time for another Travel Through Time segment. I hope you got your DeLorean and your puffy vest. We're going to look at some more stuff from the United States National Archives. Sorry, it took me a minute to jump in because after I started the stream, I realized that I forgot to get my drinks. I'm trying something new tonight. I've never had this. We'll see how it is. It looks to be Jim Beam's answer to the seltzer craze. So we'll see if it's any good. Here we go. Not bad, not bad. It claims to be crisp and cool Kentucky coolers. I feel like they could have not used the word cool twice. Probably been better advertising. Anyway. The first thing I have pulled up to start off the night and wait as people, wander in over a little bit. Got it. Sorry, there was a bug flying around my face. Got him, though. Got it. Got it. I found this. I wanted to start off with this because it has the immortal James Stewart. So I had to watch it. So to start off the night, Winning Your Wings from 1942. Lieutenant James Stewart urges young men to enlist in the Army Air Forces. Well, I can't wait. Let's see. All right, there we go. I think it's oh, here we go. Sorry, guys. I went to the Friday stream instead of the living room stream. Here we go. There we go. There we go. Yeah, Lady Liberty, I mean, that's just what I normally do anyway. That's what I just watch every single night. Usually 50s sci-fi, 50s drama. Stuff was way better.
I'm back in the movies again, don't I? Well, as a matter of fact, I like to do some talking. Don't go away until I get this thing off.
The man himself.
Now, it isn't as if it was a chore for me to talk to you because I want to speak on my favorite subject, the Army Air Forces. I can't speak from long experience. I've only been in the service a year, but I've learned a lot about what the Air Forces have to offer. That's what I want to talk to you about. Right now, the greatest mass mobilization in the history of the world is taking place. Men from cities, towns, farms, married men and single men, brothers, sweethearts, husbands, fathers and sons, businessmen and workers from the factories, and students from colleges and high schools all over America. They're mobilizing, joining up. or having their numbers pulled out of a fishbowl. And this war we're fighting today and tomorrow and the next day until we win is a war of the air.
Today, tomorrow, and the next day.
The whole world knows that. Our factories know that. So, interceptors, pursuit ships, light bombers, medium bombers, and flying fortresses are rolling out of those factories. 65,000 fighting planes this year. 100,000 fighting planes next year. And to keep them flying, 2 million men. Now that's where you come in.
And I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but George Bailey's brother himself saved a whole ship of soldiers.
35,000 flying sergeants. Well, how about it? Well, let's talk it over. Now, make no mistake about this thing, fellas. We're all going to be in this war soon, sooner than a lot of you realize. And nearly all the officers of this great Army Air Force that they're building today are going to be drawn from the ranks of you men, from high schools and colleges, those who join as aviation cadets now. Well, now, before I go any further, are there any questions?
Yeah, sure, I've got a question.
Okay, shoot.
Well, I'd like to join up, but I've got about a year of college left, and I'd kind of like to get that diploma.
Well, why not? The Air Forces want you to get your diploma. Fellas like yourself, either in high school or college, can enroll in the Air Force Reserve, continue with your studies, and at the end of the term, or when you get your diploma, you'll be taken in as a regular cadet. If you pledge
Yeah,
now.
I'm not sure this can actually be college if there's not a bunch of extremely overweight people with neck beards and green and purple hair.
Not anymore, it is. And that blocked letter you're sporting, that tells me a lot. Basketball, football, baseball, or some activity where coordination, control, and the ability to work together with the rest of the team, that's important. The same in the Air Force. They're one big team, and they need men who can pull together and play the game. So, you and your teammates should be a cinch in this, the biggest all-American team we've ever had. Now, here's a fellow who works in a filling station. He looks as though he's got something special on his mind. Say, how about it, fella?
You know, I've been interested in the Air Forces for quite a while. But I'm 26 years old and got a wife and haven't had a chance for too much education. What about me?
Well, from where I'm standing, you look
That's
like
a 26-year-old?
wings any minute. You see,
I'm not sure if I'm buying that. Certainly doesn't look 26 nowadays.
Intelligence in the Air Forces. And married or not, you'll receive $75 each month while training.
And I gotta say, definitely 26 nowadays, definitely not married with kids. No way.
15,000 captains and 40,000 lieutenants or 35,000 flying sergeants I was telling you about.
Yeah? Say, that sounds great. I think I'll go and phone my wife.
I'd like to get something straight in my mind. I'm one of those high school students you've been talking about, but I'm not old enough. I wasn't planning on going to college, so... Well, where does that leave me as far as the Air Force is concerned?
Fella, you sound like the forgotten man. But if you're close to 18, and you're over 5 feet in altitude, you can be one of us just as quickly as anybody else.
Okay.
Just make out that application for the Air Force Reserve. Now, your physical examination. Well, that's not going to be so tough. If you're an average guy and normally healthy, you'll make the
average
grade,
guy.
right? So one day you...
Man, how things change. The average guy now does not look like that. The average guy doesn't even look like me, and I'm certainly not in shape.
And maybe Aunt Minnie. Oh, yeah, Uncle Ben. And Brother Joy. Those first few steps down the walk are the beginning of a great adventure. Oh, wait, just wait a minute now. Aren't going to forget that sweet little bit of something next door. And you're on the train with a lot of other fellas. Probably many from your own school or neighborhood. Oh, yeah, I forgot to say, Uncle Sam bought your ticket. And your destination reads any one of a number of reception centers, maybe in California, maybe down in Texas. It's here that lasting friendships are made because you and your teammates are aiming for the same goal. That big, beautiful, wonderful V that spells victory. And now it begins.
Hey, before the hippies
Now,
stole it.
Here's a sort of a composite picture of what happens to you in the first few weeks of your aviation cadet training. You find your room, meet your roommate, get a haircut, Army style, and try on a new pair of shoes and a new uniform that really fits. Then, time to eat. Those chops are on the fire. Eat with a few hundred
Damn, that
other
looks
guys as hungry as
fantastic.
you are. In ground school, officers with years of experience patiently explain what makes them fly. And then one day, when class is over, you get all rigged out in what the well-dressed birdman will wear. You feel like quite a guy as you meet your flying instructor. But always in your memory
You feel
will
like
be the
quite a
thrill of that
guy.
first beautiful morning when you took off for the first time. Now, what you're going to see next isn't considered exactly a part of the regular training course. But you're a chump if you don't include it in your curriculum.
The ladies.
And you find out the effect those shiny little wings have on a gal. It's phenomenal.
Damn.
And now, mister, take the air. And he did. Well, time has marched on. And here you are, cruising along in a BT. That's basic trainer to you. And twisting your tail into a few acrobatics and loops and barrel rolls and snap rolls. Some fun, huh? And a few more weeks roll by. You find yourself in still another plane. An advanced trainer this time. Yes, indeed, you're really getting up in the world. At the rate of nearly 200 miles an hour. But you think this is something. Well, now, just wait. Fellas, shake hands with Mr. B-17 and a few of his big brothers. Now, watch out now, he's tough. Those four motors roaring through the sky like a thunderstorm, they can't fool with them.
End of reel 1. Begin reel 2.
American workmen, the finest master mechanics in the world, put those motors together. Made them live, made them breathe, made them roar. Yes, sir, a whole army of workmen, designers, engineers, and just plain guys who wanted to do something for their country. They put that B-17 together. A few thousand of these babies will win this war for us. And a few thousand guys like you in there flying them. And remember,
Guys like me?
said something about a team. Well, 9 men are inside that plane, each with an important job to do. So let's go and take
I'm
a look
telling you,
around.
it's crazy
Let's
to me
meet the
that
team.
in these days I would be considered a fat bastard, and nowadays I'm on the very much normal smaller size.
The pilot is not the most important fellow inside
I
that
would be
plane.
shown in one of these as someone who's, look how obese and out of shape this man is, and nowadays I'm on the very, very, very small side comparatively.
He's the gentleman sitting right there with his pencils, calculators. He's responsible for getting the giant bomber to its destination and back again. Now, you might like his job. Now, this fellow's a second lieutenant, draws $245 each month, and although he was good at mathematics, he didn't graduate from college. But he learned that the Air Forces could use his talents, and now he's a necessary part of the team. And now let's go up into the nose of Mr. B-17 and meet somebody who has an important job in that department. This is the bombardier, the boy who doesn't miss. You see, flying the plane is wasted motion unless this lad hits the target on the noggin. The finest pilots in the Air Force would be behind the 8 ball if the bombardier couldn't hit straight.
The bombardier,
He's
bombardier,
a full-fledged
bombardier.
commissioned officer, too, wears his wings, draws the same pay as the pilot or the co-pilot. Now, back in the main body of the plane, we've got some more important positions. This fella is the #1 engineer. He keeps the motors turning and the thousands of working parts all through the bomber inspected and in repair. And then comes the radio operator, who keeps the bomber in constant communication with its home base, and the photographer who keeps a photographic record of what takes place on the earth below while the bomber's on its mission. He's sort of an official scorekeeper, checking up for future reference. Now, the remaining members of the flight crew are number 2 engineer and number
Man,
2
is it
radio
just
man.
me, or did technology just
So you
look
see,
way
being
cooler
in the Air Force
when it was
isn't all
actual
piloting
analog,
or
pre-digital?
all
Everything just
navigating
looked
or
way
all
cooler.
bombardiering. It's teamwork.
Sure, it was
And each member
bigger,
of the team
clunkier,
is
but it
just
looked
as
way,
important
way
as the next
cooler.
one. Now listen. It takes 38 men on the ground to keep this bomber in the air. So let's go downstairs and meet the ground force. Jobs? Why, there's one to fit every kind of fellow who wants to play on this all-American team. Meet the armament officer. Now, he's in charge of 12 bombers, more or less like the one we just looked over. It's his job to see that the bombs are loaded and the machine guns, and a general all-around checkup. See that bar on his shoulders? He ranks just the same as the pilot or the co-pilot or the navigator or the bombardier. And to get this fellow's commission, a little engineering or
I love
physics
that
in
word.
college would be a great help.
Bombardier. Bombardier.
And there's a fellow whose job takes a back seat to nobody, the communications officer. Those bombing and fighting planes up there, they depend on his work. He's part of the team. And how does a fellow get a sign like that on his door? Well, Engineering Officer Captain C.D. Burns had 3 years of college. He studied aerodynamics, and those qualifications quickly awarded him his commission. He's in charge of all mechanical details and has a full crew of technically trained enlisted men to supervise. Now, another opportunity for you specially minded fellows is to be a meteorologist. If you do, you'll be assigned to a post where all military missions will be guided by your reports. Yep, and you'll get those gold bars, all right, after 30 weeks free training in some leading technological institute. Photographers and chemists. Well, there's a spot for you on the team. In charge of one of the hundreds of fixed or mobile photographic laboratories the Air Force must have. Now, this job, too, gets you a commission as an officer. So, whether you're flying a plane as a pilot or a co-pilot, charting its course as a navigator, acting as bombardier, or in any one of the many technical jobs in the air or on the ground, wherever it is in the United States Army Air Forces, you're part of a team. Now, remember that. So listen to the roar of those motors, young men of America, and heed their call. Soon the skies will be filled with the greatest air armada the world has ever seen. Our own Army Air Forces. The best planes ever built. 65,000 planes this year. 100,000 more next year. That's why we'll lick the Axis. And that's how we'll lick the Axis. Your commission in the Air Forces is waiting. You don't have to have a diploma to become an officer. Join now on the enlistment reserve basis, and then finish your present school or college term before you're called upon for actual duty. And if you're between the ages of 18 and 26, with a good bill of health, you can make as high as $245 a month, and with a bonus of $500 for each year of service in the Air Forces. Or if you become one of those 15,000 captains we need right away, you'll receive $430 a month while you serve your country. And you'll be well trained for a good job in civilian life when this war is won.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I've been
Now, here's another thing.
working. Oh, sorry, Mr. Stewart. You go ahead.
Important. You see, while you're getting all this wonderful technical training in the Air Forces, you're learning about other things, too. Things that are going to pay off in big dividends. You're learning to be alert. You're learning how to handle men and how to do that job with a lot of pride. Yeah, you're learning about courage, too. But you'll know what I mean, and I hope soon, because the Air Forces are proud to think that you might be with them. And by the time you finish your training, America will have overwhelming superiority in the air. You see, the way
Man,
the
that
Air
looks
Forces
amazing.
feel about it,
that's
they're fighting
hilarious.
and
That's
they're
awesome.
flying for the safety of our people at home, our mothers and fathers and our sisters and brothers. And to keep the terrible war of destruction that swept Poland and Belgium and Holland and blasted homes of good people in London and Coventry and maimed hundreds of innocent women
Adolf
and children
Hitler.
in Nanking and Burma and Bataan Peninsula and Pearl Harbor. To keep that war from our own shores, our cities and our homes. The roar of 100,000 motors sing their song, and theirs is a song of freedom, and their wings outstretched in the cause of decency. And each spinning prop drones in vengeance against those who would destroy our way of life.
No, what I was gonna say is that
Somebody's gotta
maybe
fight.
it's just because I've been
A lot of
focusing
somebody's
so much
gotta
lately on
fight.
getting back into shape and eating better and working out. It's just crazy to me to watch these old videos and see when they show like large groups of people how every single person is thin and fit. Every single one of them. Every single one. All right, that's Winding Your Wings from 1942. So we got the poll in the chat for Lady Marines, The City, or The Day the Books Went Blank. The City, I feel like, is a misleading title because, let's see, if I remember right when I read the description, The City is about comparing farm life and rural, what used to just be basic American life, with cities, and kind of warning of the dangers of becoming a city boy, more or less. So it's not something that's like, oh yeah, gung ho, the city life. It's like, well, we understand we need cities and we're going to keep making cities, but let's not get consumed by it. At least is my understanding from the description that I read of it. But it looks like The Day the Books Went Blank is the winner. It looks like that's where we're going next, which, let's see, the description of this from the National Archives is, hang on, let me pull it up. Portrays a mythical day when all printed pages go blank and libraries vanish. All right. Stresses civic responsibility in maintaining quality libraries. So I'm thinking this is going to be one of those things that's like it's a film, like there's actual actors and everything, but it's kind of also a PSA. If it's anywhere near as good as the one from last Saturday about the town suddenly turning communist, which was fantastic. I actually downloaded that and I actually have that in my movie library now just to watch. That was a great film. So let's see. Yep, The Day the Books Went Blank is the winner. If it's even half as good as that communist one, I'm sure I'm gonna dig it. Let's start it.
It started off like any other day, but today Jane Freeman had decided on a visit to her local library. It had been a long time, she thought, too long since she had taken out a book. Her first stop was the new bookshelf. She selected a title and opened it to read. But as she thumbed through the pages, she found them blank from cover to cover. Sue Palmer, librarian, went to the card catalog of her library to locate a book requested by the high school history teacher for her American history class. But as she checked the catalog, she found the cards were blank, from first to last. Charles Boyden, trustee of his public library, thought he would drop in to see how the new browsing room was coming along. But as he watched, the building started to dissolve into thin air and finally disappeared. The news aroused the people. And from a great multitude whose lives are touched by public library service came a question that echoed through the quiet villages that grace the New England countryside and the bustling towns and cities.
What's happening to our libraries?
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 It's a question of vital consequence. Change is in evidence wherever we look today. Education with new demands is broadening its facilities and its scope. Opportunities for recreation
I already see that this is
possibilities.
I'm sorry, this is not going to be as good
But in
as
the rush to meet the challenge
communist
of our
town one.
changing world, what's happening to our libraries?
This is just a PSA.
In too many communities,
I'm sure it's great though.
in others, libraries have kept pace with the times and provided the community with dynamic service. In too many, the pace has been backward. Shabby and outdated books, crowded space, old-fashioned rooms, antiquated lighting, and limited hours. Whereas in others, modern facilities, balanced book collections, and up-to-date techniques now provide a strong program. What makes the difference? People, many people, who believe in good libraries, who use them, and who actively support them as friends of the library. Dedicated trustees who interpret the library needs of the people and act
Are
on
you
their
a
behalf.
friend of the library?
With our
Are you?
ever-increasing
Are you?
population, there has been an increase in demand for library services. Costs of books and operating expenses are going up. If the library is to provide the community with the type of service it wants, then this increased budget request must be approved.
Trained librarians to meet
Man,
library needs
that,
as they develop and change.
Film effect they put on this is fantastic. It's well done.
What
It's
happens when
it's better than any
citizens,
special effects I
trustees,
ever
and
done. This
librarians work
honestly looks
together
like
to
it's
improve
from
library services?
you know, the 50s or the 60s.
The results are better collections of
Amazing.
books and related materials. Better services to all members of the community.
And of course, don't forget to like the stream. And there is
Better
a
buildings
poll
and facilities.
in the chat already for the next film. You're just gonna have to vote based off the title. You don't know which is which, but it's all right. I haven't watched any of them either. That's what we're here for.
Better trained staffs. The major concern of all libraries, even the smallest, is books and related
Hey, I had like a
materials.
middle school or something
And
where the
major
library
effort
looked like
is
that.
devoted to
Had
getting
had
the
those
right books into the hands of
metal
their
shelves like
patrons
that.
at the right time. The continuing aim is to maintain and improve their collections to gear them to the needs and interests of each community.
Each community is different, and each has its individual needs. Perhaps the most exacting task of the librarian is to know his community and what it requires in the way of books, services, buildings, and
Yeah,
staff.
Bog, I was also expecting that. I thought from the title it was going to be like the communist town that we watched last week, which was amazing. More Twilight Zone, less PSA, but, you know, it's entertaining in its own way, for sure. Because I genuinely think that we are the first generation that can honestly say, looking back on previous generations, that things actually were better back then. People romanticize the past all the time, but I think that we can actually say that a lot of this was objectively better than what we have now.
A man with a modern car, faced with technological advances, complicated mechanism, and an abundance of free advice, would need a book that is hot off the press. If you think about it, the different needs and interests of individuals within each community are virtually
for sure. There was time now.
And the
there was time.
Both large and small, is making the most of them.
No, but am I crazy? I don't think it's a romanticizing of the past. I think that so much has changed in our culture and the country and technology and everything that it's actually not just a romantic. Of course, romanticizing is a part of it, but I think if you just look at the facts, it was objectively better before this, which I think wasn't true if you were, you know, living in the 50s, looking back on the 40s or the 30s. I don't think that was objectively true. I think it's objectively true now that in 2023, you look back in time at these old National Archives videos. It was objectively better, actually better by every available metric. The only thing is technology, but technology, by every available metric, has made things worse.
Books so selected are distributed from a central point.
I don't know. That's just what I think.
Building a comprehensive reference collection is mighty expensive business. Active libraries
Look at those special
are cooperating
effects.
with
That's
neighboring
awesome.
libraries in the selection and use of reference materials also. Each one specializes in certain subject areas. The result is that any local library in the group can draw on the resources of its cooperating neighbors to provide better reference service to its borrowers. The same holds true for cooperation in selection and purchase of periodicals and other related materials. Cooperation is also helping to solve the space problem. Important but little used books are placed in a common storage facility where they remain available while freeing valuable shelf space in the local library. Reciprocal borrower's cards are still another kind of cooperation that is broadening the scope of library service. Here, the borrower can move from one library to another in order to find the books he needs. Beyond the community level, the programs of the state library extension agencies are geared to strengthen and supplement local resources and services. They have a basic responsibility to provide statewide leadership in planning for every kind of library activity. No library, no matter how large or how well supported, can hope to meet all of the library needs of its community. A familiar program of the state library extension agencies designed to meet one of these needs is bookmobile service, operating out of regional centers or state headquarters. Local public libraries, and in many cases schools, special groups and individuals, enjoy the service regularly. From the Canadian border to Long Island Sound in all kinds of weather, under all kinds of conditions. The bookmobile travels the highways of New England. And wherever it goes, the welcome mat is out. Books even travel the sea lanes to provide reading materials to everyone, no matter where he may live. But book service to rural areas is only part of the story. In addition, book and reference service by mail is provided by the state library extension agencies from their sizable book collections. Where union catalogs are maintained, the agencies have a listing of the books contained in the cooperating group of libraries, and the requested material may be located through the catalog. Or the State Library Extension Agency may have established a network of outstanding libraries in its state, offering still wider opportunities for extensive book service. In this way, through cooperation on a statewide level, or where necessary, reaching beyond the state. No geographical limits are recognized in the effort to fill special book requests that reflect the local borrower's particular needs or his broadest interests. Such mail service is given through the local library, or where required, is extended directly to schools, special groups, or individuals. Cooperation is not limited to books and periodicals alone. Film cooperatives have been organized to broaden the availability of films to libraries, organizations, schools, and individuals. These cooperatives function within the states and even on an interstate level. Collections of recordings covering many fields from classical to popular music, poetry, and dramatic readings are also being shared cooperatively by libraries which seek to serve their communities better. To each person who relies on his library for information, inspiration, or pleasure, the value of cooperation is becoming more and more evident. And this is just as true for those who look to their libraries for services which go beyond the collection of books.
Well, that looks like something out of a sci-fi movie. Come on. That looks like 50s sci-fi. The reel for the newspapers?
Take reference service, for instance. One of the most important services available at the local library. Whether the question is simple or complex, the modern library is prepared to provide this service, either through its own resources or through cooperatively shared resources. The good library offers readers advisory service, which provides the patron with those books and related materials which can speed and strengthen his progress in the field of his choice.
I just can't help but notice all the assuming of genders in all these films. It's really disturbing, honestly.
Have organized
the Dark
special
Ages.
Advisory groups of young people for the review and selection of library books for their particular age group. The Children's Story Hour is one of the best-known services offered by the library.
Wait, where's the drag queens? How can they have a children's hour for books without drag queens? This is chaos!
Whether the program is a favorite story told in a dramatic way by a trained member of the staff, or a puppet show with all the excitement of make-believe, the library performs a unique and special service for the community in bringing the children the priceless pleasure which they find only in the magic world of Once Upon a Time. As a supplement to the school library, the community library provides a source of reference material for study when schools are not in session. Even more important, it makes available the books the student needs to pursue his special interests which may chart the course of his life.
Very patriarchy-centered. He's always saying he, him, his. Man, these really were the Dark Ages. Look at this. Look at this absolute chaos
The relationship
and anarchy.
between the school and public library is strengthened by consultants from the state library extension agencies who work with school librarians and with public librarians to foster the unique and vital function of each.
Oh my gosh, I want that poster that was back there. I want that poster.
They also are available to assist in making library surveys, in working out budgets, and establishing procedures in cataloging or any of the many services carried on daily by the Progressive Library. Exhibits covering a wide range
back when
of subjects
progressive
are another
wasn't a
service
dirty
being
word.
provided by the active library.
It had not yet
And
been corrupted.
cooperation is being used to extend the value of this interesting phase of library work. Each library in the cooperating group creates an exhibit of its own, and the collection is then rotated among the group. Add to these services adult discussion programs, hospital and shut-in service, services to golden age groups, quick reference service to businessmen who may request information by telephone, and it is easy to see how much the library can mean to the community when it functions at its best.
Yeah, I was
And the
expecting
library functions
a
at its
sci-fi
best
the day
when it
all
is
the books
housed in
went
a building
blank,
that provides
but
adequate space, light, and equipment.
we didn't quite get that. I'm sorry.
The modern concept in library architecture, whether the style be colonial, traditional, or modern, calls for an open, airy structure with suitable illumination in all areas, book space to house a growing collection, sufficient workspace for the staff, and reading areas close to bookshelves where comfort and a pleasant atmosphere add to the reader's enjoyment. The state library extension agencies cooperate to provide information and guidance in studying building requirements. Present population and anticipated population changes are basic considerations in making recommendations. A new building is not always the answer.
You know what is kind of
Often
surprising to me,
expansion,
though, is that
remodeling,
this
or
video
rearrangement of the present
has
building
3
will handle the
dislikes.
situation.
Who was just like, I hate the public library so much, I must dislike this
One of the problems that is
video.
challenging the efforts of the designers is the remodeling of older structures
Okay.
built during the last
All right.
century and built to last. Poor lighting. Narrow, cold windows. Dark, crowded shelf space. Narrow, dangerous stairs. Can be changed with the most gratifying results through ingenuity, careful planning, and the energy of all who are seeking good library service. Where the local community has accepted its responsibilities and raised the money, the local library has been transformed. But library book collections, services, and buildings are only as good as the staffs that maintain them. a pleasing personality.
Oh, come on, he's writing
desire to help
in the
people of
book?
the community, and
That
technical
ain't right.
skills
Come on,
form
man.
the basis for good librarianship. The conviction that books can change the world, and have, is contagious when a successful librarian serves the people. In-service training is offered by each agency to participating libraries to acquaint present staffs with new techniques and to train them in approved methods and procedures.
I mean, that is kind of true. You're right on that. This is the title the title promised way more. You're absolutely right.
Promotion of library standards established
The
by
day the
American
books
Library
went blank
Association
makes me feel like I'm about
and
to
by the
watch
individual
something
states
that's like,
is a most
The Day the
important
Earth
phase
Stood
of the
Still,
agency's
which is one of the
work.
greatest films of all time.
Certification of librarians is also
This is
required.
not quite on the level of The Day the Earth Stood
Good
Still,
communications
in my
is
humble
essential
opinion.
To progress in the writing of brochures, pamphlets, newsletters, and other printed materials is carried on by the agencies to help keep librarians informed and up to date on all matters concerning library work. To this end, also, the state library extension agencies of New England plan, conduct, and participate in library meetings within their respective states and on a New England-wide basis.
Well, all it was at the very beginning, somebody looked for something and they were like, oh no, it's blank.
Regional meetings
And that
geared
was
to the
like the
interests
first
of
40
library
seconds of it,
trustees
and then the rest of
are
it has been
broadening
this.
the understanding of this important group in improving service. Cooperation among libraries is also being explored to the fullest to provide better staffs. Sharing the services of professionally trained personnel can mean better programs for those libraries with limited and untrained staffs.
Oh man, it was creating a pentagram.
Yes, whatever libraries
Satanism.
are serving
Look
their
out.
communities well, the people, the trustees, and the staffs are continually working together to keep pace with the changing world. What about your own library? Is Jane Freeman a member of your community? Are the books on your shelves blank? They might as well be if they're not being read. Is Sue Palmer
There
on
you go.
your staff?
There's your
Are her cards
brief
really
sci-fi part.
They might as well be if there's no time for cataloging, no space for files, if the books are out of date or badly worn or unavailable. And your library, is it a center of community interest? Is it being well used, or might it just as well disappear? Are you merely asking,
What's happening to our libraries?
or are you taking action to improve your library? Are you providing enough money to do the job? The job of maintaining a book collection geared to your needs. Of offering the services you want. Of
I'm
housing
a
your
little
library
teapot. Oh no,
in
it's
a
gone
suitable
already.
building. Of providing a staff that is trained and has the facilities it needs to do an effective job. Of cooperating with the libraries in your community and beyond. The years between 20 and 80 represent 3/4 of a lifetime, because for most of us, the only library we will know during these years is the public library. Because our forefathers gave us a priceless heritage when they founded the first public libraries in New England. Because our obligation to our children and to the future is even greater than our obligation to the past, we must make sure America builds its wisdom and strength for the long struggle ahead to win the minds of men.
Well, we definitely failed on that
The
front.
most effective weapon in this struggle is an informed people. The most accessible source of knowledge and wisdom available to all should be the public library.
We should have the most informed people in the history of
The
humanity
question is,
with the internet, but
what's happening in your
we have the
library?
dumbest population, I think, in the history of the world compared to the information they have access to. But, you know, that's just my 2 cents. And I am correct. All right, have you placed your votes for the next film? It looks like Military Etiquette and Grooming from 1970 is the winner, which I did not expect. There is a bunch of these etiquette and grooming videos. We watched one of them last week. They are very interesting. I'd say more interesting than that lie of a title of The Day the Books Went Blank. I was definitely expecting more from that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you have liked the stream. You know all the YouTuber things. YouTuber voice. Activate now. Super chats. Activate the super chat jukebox. You know the things.
I'm just telling you. Oh, he's part of a larger thing of Q. Is he Q?
All the good stuff. It looks like Military Etiquette. That's what we're going for. Yeah, I actually thought the use of war dogs was going to win. It actually is literal. It's not like the war dogs, war dogs. It's actually the use of dogs in war. Which when I found it and I looked it up, it looks pretty interesting. Maybe we'll get that later. But it looks like we end the poll with Military Etiquette and Grooming from 1970 with 43% of the vote. Now, where the hell did I have it? Let's see. I got it pulled up somewhere. 1971. Here we go. 1970. And you know what's funny is I did not include this in the... I didn't use this as the title because it seemed almost not fair that people would immediately vote for it. The title of this film actually is Pleasure of Your Company is the name of this title, which again, it's it seems like it takes a different connotation nowadays than what it did at the time in 1970. Here we go. Pleasure of Your Company, Military Etiquette and Grooming from 1970. Let's hit it. The pleasure of your company. Let's go. Let's do it.
I really got to get it. Oh, please, Captain York. I keep forgetting. He's not an officer, so I let him open the door. Right? I never know which one to use. Now let me see. Oh well, I wasn't too hungry anyway. Oh no. No one's talking to the guest of honor.
Good manners, social grace, and courtesy are the mark of the successful servicewoman. They can also be used to describe successful people in all walks of life.
Well, if any lady wants to ever talk to me, I'll teach you how to be a successful servicewoman. If you know what I mean.
and
Go
good
on
taste.
about the length of our skirts.
Sorry, I'm sorry about that.
Wow, I really thought I was going to catch it.
Did she talk to you about it?
Yeah, she talked to me about it. And wow, man, you could have knocked me over with a pin.
Say, that's a beautiful dress. Where did you get it?
Where did I... Oh, I bought it at Lorman's last Thursday.
You know, I wish I could wear one of those. They're really cute, but, well, I guess they're a little young for me.
But I thought, well, that you didn't dig. Oh, excuse me, ma'am. Well, that you didn't like mini skirts and clothes like that.
No, now, that's not exactly right. We do have certain ideas about how you should look in your uniform,
Yes,
about the
ma'am.
tailoring, the fit, and how it should be kept. And I guess sometimes we do express these feelings rather strongly.
Yes, ma'am.
But really, that only applies to your uniform. How you dress in your off-duty hours is another matter. Now, we do expect the girls to show good taste in everything they wear, but that really shouldn't keep you from expressing your own individuality or personality in selection of clothes, hairstyles, and makeup.
Yes, ma'am.
Take miniskirts, for example. I think they're great, and you look good in them. And I really feel the same way about a lot of the other new and exciting styles. They're all fine, in the right place and at the right time. Well, you might say that's the key to the whole thing, the right place and at the right time. And I feel the same way about makeup and jewelry. Because, well, you'd probably look a little dowdy if you didn't wear, you know, more dramatic makeup in the evening, something that would set off your costume.
Yes, ma'am.
But, well, I really have no argument with any of it, so long as it's appropriate and worn at the right time.
Wow, I really never knew you thought that way about it, Captain York.
Well, I can't wear many of the new styles myself, but I like them. In fact, I think they're just fine.
Well, between you and I, Captain York, a lot of the people around here would be very surprised. You know, some of the girls think that she's old-fashioned and I don't know, you know, just out of it. But let me tell you something, girls. Anybody that thinks that about Captain York is like making really one big mistake. You know, she happens to be an absolutely groovy person and really a swinger.
Boy, you really changed your mind about her in a hurry. Anyway, I'm glad to see that running into Captain York didn't spoil your evening.
It didn't at all.
Well, that's great, because mine was such a mess.
Really? What went wrong?
Everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong. You know, they were all little things, but boy, they really added up and wrecked my evening. The whole thing started in the restaurant.
Even ordering the food was a big problem.
No soup.
No soup.
No.
That's right. And then I will have the roast beef, please.
Roast beef?
Yes, roast beef medium rare. And then I would like to have, No, I'm sorry. The gentleman would like the baked potato.
I want a baked potato.
Yeah.
You want roast beef, sir? No. No, the lady would like to have the roast beef.
I'm terribly sorry. Yes.
No, it's all right.
I would like the roast beef medium rare.
Right.
And then I would like to have...
With the baked potato.
No.
Sour cream.
It was a mess, all right. A real mess.
And both of us talking at the same time.
Wow.
The orders got so mixed up, like it was just terrible.
Well, that shouldn't give you any trouble, Sandy. That's really no problem at all. You can find out all about that kind of stuff in any book of etiquette.
I can?
Sure. Here, I'll explain to you how it works.
All you have to remember is to always tell your escort what you'd like to have, and then let him place the order for you. That's right, Sandy. Just tell Frank.
I would like the shrimp cocktail, please. Roast beef with a baked potato and a tossed salad.
Very good.
Good evening, sir. Madam. Did you care to order now?
Yes, the lady would like the shrimp cocktail, roast beef, medium rare, the baked potato, and a tossed salad.
What sort of dressing would you like on that?
Oh, Russian, please.
Russian dressing.
Listen to me giving you all the answers as if I knew all about it. Sandy, don't let it fool you. I get into plenty of messes myself.
You do?
I sure do. Well, just the other night, when I was on my way out with Tom,
Oh, here, that's...
It was only a little thing, but it was so confusing. I have to stop and think these days, because I can't remember when I'm supposed to open the door and when I'm not. Well, all day long I open doors. And stand when I talk to the officers I work with. After a while, you get used to that. But I get kind of confused, because after 1,700 hours, this little pumpkin changes and becomes the lady. They stand for me.
Reporting is directed, ma'am.
I
Let's go.
Okay.
Oh, fine. How was it?
And they open doors for me. Not bad. Not bad at all.
I mean, it just takes a little thought and a little remembering once in a while, but it's all worthwhile. I mean, well, I really enjoyed this being a girl. It's so great.
Well, my dear, I'm glad to see you've got all your problems solved. I wish I could say the same about myself.
Oh, come on, Sandy. Maybe you're exaggerating.
I'm not.
It couldn't have gone that bad.
Oh, it couldn't, huh?
Oh, okay. Come on, tell Mama all about it. What happened?
All kinds of things. Now, listen, you know I don't embarrass easily. But, man, as soon as we got in that restaurant, I knew I was in trouble. I didn't know which one to use, and I didn't want to look like a fool.
But that's easy, Sandy. You don't have to worry about a thing like that. I used to get bugged by that too, but no more. Now you can find out what each piece of silverware is for. But if you don't know, all you have to do is work from the outside of the service into the plate. That's right, Sandy. That's right. The outside one.
But that wasn't all. Oh, there's my favorite chaplain. Excuse me a minute. I'll be right back. Hello, Chaplain Mills. How are you today? I'm so happy to see you. Chaplain Mills, I would like you to meet a friend of mine, Frank Parker. Frank, I would like you to meet Mrs.
Come on, Sandy, you can do it. Just remember the rules. Always present the gentleman to the lady. In the military, it's the junior to the senior member. And always mention the lady's name first. It's simple.
Mrs. Mills, Chaplain Mills, may I present Sergeant Parker?
Good evening, Sergeant Parker.
People think it's easy, that there's nothing to the social responsibilities a girl has in the service. They just don't understand. I even have the same trouble with Tom.
What's the big deal? So you have to set up a reception for the new sergeant major. What's so tough about that?
What's so tough? Well, you may not realize it, but there's a lot to setting up an affair like this. It just doesn't happen, you know.
Well, I would say that the first thing we have to do is to get organized and decide what kind of party we want, where we're going to get the money, how much money we want to spend, things like that. You know, this is a very important event, and, well, I really think we should have a sit-down dinner.
No, I don't think that's necessary. Possibly a nice morning coffee. Besides, this time of the month, not too many of us have money to spend to afford a dinner.
That's right.
Well, I think it ought to be a reception buffet myself.
No, coffee. No, I think it really should be a dinner.
No, I think it ought to be a buffet.
we can get the money up if we really try.
No. I think a buffet would be better.
We finally decided on a reception buffet. The next thing we had to do was find out how much the unit fund could afford to give us, and that took some doing. And then we had to set up a committee to help select the food and beverages, and that was also a lot of time.
You know, when I was in high school, women also had that haircut, that exact same haircut. But at that time, it was considered emo and scene to have this haircut.
I didn't say it was easy, Susan.
History always repeats itself, you know.
I spent all afternoon with the first sergeant helping to set up the receiving line. And then after that, we had to check and make sure everything was according to regulation. Well, I'm glad that's all over with. But there'll still be 1,000 things to do at the reception itself. I mean, I'll be so glad when tomorrow's over. No, it really was wonderful after all.
I told you you'd have a good time. What's there to do at a reception?
Is that so? Well, let me tell you what can happen if all you think about is just having a good time. We could have had a very embarrassing situation on our hands if it hadn't been handled correctly. There's more to it, Tom, than just having a good time. As an aide, I have to see that it all runs smoothly, that each name is passed on to the line correctly, and that the line flows so that the guest of honor doesn't wind up talking to nobody. You know, getting people
Man,
to
look at
mix
that
and mingle
hair.
is a very
Like on the
important part
right.
of any party.
Wow.
Fran, we purposely avoided having tables and chairs at this party so everybody would talk and mingle a lot more, and here are you girls having your own little private party going. Come on, get with it. Hey, girls, wouldn't you like to come and meet the new Sergeant Major? Come on, she's over there, okay?
Man, this blonde chick,
that does take a
wife
lot of doing,
material,
doesn't it?
for sure.
I'm sorry, sweetie. I didn't mean to put you down.
Good appearance, social graces, personal development of this kind pays off in career advancement, social acceptance, and personal fulfillment. A pretty good deal.
Oh, well, I forgot to put the next vote in the chat for the next video. That's my bad. Let's see what we got. The use of war dogs, the Negro soldier. Let's continue. So the next one, that was 1970. Let's go to 1971 for the military etiquette and manners video. See how things changed in 1 year. Just in 1 year. I'm sure it's totally different. And then I'll actually remember to put the poll in the chat. Let's see, what other ones do I have pulled up? We're getting to the end of the list that I had because I did want to play Dynasty Warriors Gundam tonight as well. Oh, by the way, if you're not subscribed to the second channel, the gaming channel, even if you don't care about games, go subscribe to it just to help me out. And you don't have to turn on the notifications, but definitely check it out. Swamp Plays. The link is in the description. I guess I could add it in the chat. I'd never really thought about that, but... Oh, there we go. First super chat of the night. Lady Liberty for the glory days. Absolutely. These were... Like I said, I actually honestly think that it's different. It's not just a romanticizing of the past that people always seem to have. I think that we're in the first generation where you can actually objectively see that things were better before now. I mean, there's like a bunch of these, data points and stuff, from these different organizations that show things that, first time that the generation, the most recent generation is going to be worse off than their parents just economically. And then not to mention just in general all the cultural stuff that some people seem to think is great, but we all know is kind of fucked up. This stuff definitely seems to be better. But here we go. Super Chat Jukebox. Activate.
Get out of here now! Burn! You don't do it! You don't do it! You don't do it! You get out of here! Burn this thing!
I actually love that song. I'm not gonna lie. The Wind of God. Great one. Yeah, Bog, I guess you missed the official announcement on the Friday stream. Yesterday was we're doing Dynasty Warriors Gundam, which whenever we can actually stream again together, maybe we should do that one. 2-player Dynasty Warriors Gundam. I've got a bunch of new games, so we can do something along those lines. All right. Mind your military manners. Military etiquette and grooming, 1971. So the very next year. Let's see how things have changed. Or they haven't changed. Who knows?
Boy, they better do something about that bus. That thing must... Oh, look at my hair. It's all messed up. Look, Ralphie, wouldn't you girls like some? Listen, I am determined not to have another Blue Monday.
Going to work, making your way in the Army is pretty much the same as in civilian life.
I know.
Basically, you have to know your job. You have to be willing to work, and you have to know how to get along with people. While the fundamental requirements may be the same, there are some differences. A little something extra is needed for the successful military career. One of the most important ingredients, for example, is good military manners.
You know, I really like this post, but I think it's time for me to move on. I would really like a new assignment.
Me too. You know, I wish I could get that special assignment in shape here for Belgium.
Yeah. Belgium? Oh, man, I'm available. Boy, I would give anything to have that groovy job in Belgium. Just anything. Unfortunately, Miss Marilyn Vernon has that whole thing sewn up.
Oh, does she?
Marilyn Vernon,
she really
she does.
She has
Oddly enough, I feel like the audio quality isn't as good on this one. Let's see if we get the subtitles going.
Marilyn.
There we go.
No, you're wrong.
There's no question about it.
You're wrong. Marilyn has it all sewn up.
I know what you two are talking about. You both know
This goes completely off screen.
You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind.
I'm glad everyone knows exactly who should get my recommendation for that assignment.
I tried.
But I don't. I don't, and I'm their commanding officer. It's not as if one girl stood head and shoulders above the other. They're all
Yeah, it's
fine
weird that the audio and video are worse. I guess this one just wasn't preserved as well.
Make a sensible decision in a situation
This is from
like this.
1971.
Let me see. Who most deserves the assignment? Susan? Marilyn?
All right, I'll turn the subtitles on and full screen it so you can actually see the
I
subtitles.
guess the
Here we go.
co-workers know more about them than anyone else.
For the help that you gave.
Well, thank you, Mr. Jones.
Okay.
There we go.
So you want to know about Marilyn. We have a fine group of girls in this office, and they do a wonderful job. I suppose Marilyn has always been a favorite of mine. She does a wonderful job, and besides, she's kind of nice to have around. A wonderful girl.
Okay, she's a hard worker. We're all hard workers. What has that got to do with anything?
She's a terrific-looking girl. That hasn't hurt her a bit, believe me.
Well, that's a trans man. Who
guess
knew that we were
Marilyn is one of the
inclusive in
prettiest girls in
1971?
my company. But
You
I
know.
must say, she doesn't always make the most of it. She forgets herself and wears jewelry with her uniform. The extreme hairstyles she wears from time to time don't exactly go well with her whack
Extreme.
uniform. She likes to hike up her skirt so that it becomes a mini skirt.
Whore. Whore.
She's a bright girl, but she's going to have to improve. We don't really frown on wearing jewelry. Or dramatic hairstyles, or the new look in clothes. think the mini skirt, pantsuits, bell bottoms are great. In their place. And that's the key.
And apparently they got more conservative from 1970 to
The
1971.
time and place.
Man, the one from 1970 was definitely
For example,
way more
the
groovy.
family evening wear. This girl's dramatic makeup, extreme hairstyles are fine. And her gown is beautiful. But I'm sure you'd agree that sneakers
It's not a gown. Those are
kind of costume.
wide leg pants. What's going on here?
Selecting the right makeup and the right dress are more than matters of taste with us. In one important sense, they're what we mean by military manners. Marilyn would do a good job, but her personal appearance... I still have a decision to make here.
Well, she looked like a whore.
Carol Robertson would also be good. She's an entirely different kind of girl.
Oh, yes. And I tabulated the test results here. They're all summarized at the end of the report with the conclusions that the colonel gave me.
That's real fine, Miss Robertson. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You can always depend on Carol. She really applies herself and works hard. In fact, sometimes I think she knows more about what's going on here than I do. She's a real marvel. But that's not just my opinion. Ask anyone. They'll tell you the same thing about Specialist Robertson.
Carol is the most efficient person in this office. She works hard on her own projects. And more important, she's always there to help somebody. If you look over there, you can see what I mean.
Now let me get this right, Carol. Definitions. For the purpose...
If I decided on her work alone, I suppose I would recommend Carol. She does a superb job. But there's more to it than that. And Carol will have to correct a few little problems if she hopes to get anywhere. Carol is neat, clean, and could be attractive. But I think she's confused about a few things. She confuses military bearing and behavior with male
My bad,
mannerisms.
sorry.
Well, they're not the same thing at all. And her walk, that really is a problem. She's forgotten that the 30-inch step is for the drill field.
Her walk.
And that every place else, you walk like a girl. If she would only learn to walk properly.
Now, don't misunderstand me for a moment.
I
have nothing against
it really seems like they got more
girl,
conservative
very
in
pleased
1
with her
year,
work.
from 1970 to 1971.
Every time I see her, she carries herself as if she were on a parade field. I feel that our young ladies around here can walk and talk, stand and sit like young ladies. And I see no reason for them to change just because they're in uniform. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Fine.
But thank you for coming by.
Oh, who does she look like? She looks like somebody from some sitcom.
See what I mean? A real problem. Now, Susan Mayfield is something else again. She's not as efficient as Carol, but she is completely
Oh, hey, it's
feminine
the
at
same
all
woman with
times.
the same haircut.
And let me assure you, that adds to her military effectiveness. She has all the grace and charm a young girl should have. She knows how to walk, stand, and sit in a graceful, feminine manner.
Battalion Headquarters, Specialist Mayfield speaking, sir.
Specialist Mayfield, a new pamphlet was supposed to have come in this week. Could you come in and help me find it?
Certainly, ma'am.
She also knows and practices all the rules of military courtesy that she has learned.
Good morning, ma'am.
I'm saying this woman here with the dark hair, she reminds me of from
Yes, ma'am.
some
I filed it just this morning.
oh,
I'll
it's
go and get it
80s
for
or
you.
90s sitcom.
Holding doors open, standing while talking with an officer, are just a few examples of proper military courtesy. They serve as signs of respect, which an enlisted person shows her superiors. They also serve to show the alertness and the awareness of the individual. Those who tend to ignore proper military courtesy will also ignore courtesy in their civilian behavior.
Here you are, ma'am.
Thank you, Specialist Mayfield.
Excuse me, ma'am. I believe my phone is ringing.
Shirley. One of the most serious problems in proper military etiquette arises in answering the telephone. Susan knows how important this is, and she knows how it should be done.
You got this, Susan. You got it.
Battalion headquarters, Specialist Mayfield, sir. No, I'm sorry, sir. Captain Foster isn't in right now. Well, she is expected back at 11:30. Would you like to leave a message, sir? Well, yes, I'll see that she gets it. Major Murphy called and would like to know the status.
No, you're absolutely right.
the feeder
Liberty
report.
is I was listening to a
100
Knowles speech in the last few days where he was talking about this. It's really interesting that feminism itself has made it so that whenever you hear the word act feminine, you hear feminine, that you have this weird reaction where you say like, oh, that's bad. I shouldn't, that's a feminine. That's offensive. Really? Okay. Well, that's interesting. I mean, why would you feel that way? I mean, men should want to be masculine and women should want to be feminine. Why is that such a bizarre... Anyway,
And this goes beyond telephone answering.
I don't want to continue to interrupt this amazing etiquette video.
This is as important as their appearance. The trouble here is people just don't know what they sound like.
But that take all day.
There's all the difference in the world between that's going to take all day and I'll get it done as quickly as possible, sir. If people could hear themselves, they would realize how important the right tone of voice, the right selection of words are. Well, there you are. These are just a few of the things I have to consider before making my recommendation on which woman will go to Belgium. Many of the women put in a lot of effort and never seem to get anywhere. I think just seeing what is acceptable and what isn't may be helpful. For example, we all know that you shouldn't wear a miniskirt as part of the uniform. There's no question about that. And that you should walk in a feminine manner at all times.
There's the weird clown honk horn going on in this music. Bat, bat.
What we're talking about applies as much to civilian life as it does to the military. The key word in both settings are appropriateness and good taste. Now then, who do I recommend for the assignment to Belgium? As a rule, it goes to the girl who does something about her career. The girl who gives the matter a little thought, a little effort. In the final analysis, girls, it's up to you.
The end. All right, what does the vote say? The use of war dogs has come out on top. Thank God. I actually really do want to watch The City as well, because I feel like that would apply to my life. Not even a joke. I feel like that actually would apply to my life. But I actually just really want to watch this use of war dogs, because I honestly have no idea what we're about to see on this. The use of war dogs. This is from 1943. Let me see where it gives a description. This film shows war dogs as they were trained by the remount section of the Quartermaster Corps. Scenes show dogs as they were being trained to lead patrols. I'm interested in it. It's gonna be pretty interesting. Scenes also show a messenger dog demonstrating how to deliver a message in return with needed ammunition. Messenger dogs delivering carrier pigeons. I had no idea they did that. Laying wire on a battlefield? What? That's awesome. Dogs are able to lay wire on a battlefield. And a casualty dog helping his master locate wounded soldiers on a battlefield. That sounds pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie. 1943. All right. I got to switch. Hang on. Sorry. I know. Ruining the flow. Amateur hour over here. All right, here we go.
The dog has served man for centuries. His progress and use have changed with the times, but always he has shown adaptability to specific tasks. In the military field, his tactical value has been recognized for a long time by the armies of other nations. But it was not until the present conflict that our own armed forces began to train and employ dogs for duty with combat units. Under the guidance of the remount section of the Quartermaster Corps, the carefully chosen canines receive basic and specialized training, which toughens and prepares them for definite assignments under fire. Dogs of many breeds rally to the colors. The hunting dog is relieved of his other duties for the duration and begins the grim manhunt after the common enemy. A dog's natural instincts make cover and concealment easy lessons. Kill or be killed is again instinctive. He's fast and elusive, intelligent and willing. His hatred of the foe is complete. Loyalty and devotion to his job are commonplace with him. He asks for no reward. A pat on the back, any little acknowledgement by his master.
Oddly adorable.
Procedures
War dogs is oddly adorable.
To supply the men who will train with the dogs they'll bring back to their outfits. All dogs are specially picked for size and usefulness. Each is trained to do a single job. And remember, they're not pets or mascots. They're soldiers, war dogs. The sentry and attack dogs have already proved their worth for interior guard duty. Now you'll meet their brothers in the tactical service, the silent scout dog, the messenger dog, and the casualty dog. First, we visit an outpost position where the silent scout dog is used to detect and give silent warning of any foreign presence, such as the sneaky character cautiously moving amid those palmettos. This movement alerts our war dog, who's able to detect ambushes or infiltration long before they can be discerned by human or mechanical means. Soundless as the night and naturally adapted to stealth, the silent scout dog leads his master to a position behind the hidden enemy. Tojo, meanwhile, has his sniper's eyes on some of our boys and is getting set to knock them off. But the silent scout dog has already cornered the rat. Master and dog take cover. A prearranged signal directs our own deadly rifle fire to the exact spot where the enemy is hidden. Tojo loses by a quick KO, and the silent scout dog supplied the initial power. Next, a reconnaissance patrol. The leader issues special instructions indicating the mission and general direction of the advance. Here we'll see further use of the silent scout dog, who leads the patrol, and in addition, the messenger dog, who brings up the rear. The latter will be used to establish liaison with the outpost, but we're now concerned with the scout dog. His master's aware of the fundamental principles governing the dog's ability to supply quick warning of a hostile presence. Best advantage is taken of wind and other conditions favoring the dog's power of scenting. His master reads the dog carefully. Every movement of the dog conveys a message. Note the watchfulness, sharp ears alert, nose always to the wind. It would be the same in frozen wastes or hot jungles, in any kind of weather or field conditions. The silent scout dog handles his assignment with trained efficiency. The tenseness is growing. He's fresh on the scent of something that smells like trouble. Enemy in sight. So, exit the scout dog. His job's well done. And enter the messenger dog. Vital information is hastily written out for dispatch to the outpost position to the rear. An emergency ammunition supply is urgently needed if the patrol is to hold out. And instead of a soldier runner, the messenger dog will do the job. A human life is not risked, and the war dog will get the message through. His speed and size make him a tough target, and there's no halt or backward glance until he comes to the ammunition supply point. It's just brief minutes since he left the patrol, but already the messenger dog has brought in the information that'll help to avert possible disaster. And he's raring to race back with that emergency supply of ammunition. Under such conditions, he can pack up to 25 pounds. Cartridge carrier, with weight well distributed, fits snugly on his back, and the pictures show how rapidly it can be made secure. His special collar is replaced, and he'll be hurrying back to the patrol. Again, the elapsed time is barely minutes. It's a case of passing the ammunition and praise for the dog, and his ability to follow teachings and instincts. With a patrol. Empty rifles indicate that it'll be an arrival in the nick of time. All the realism of combat is simulated, but the messenger dog won't be steered off his course and reaches the patrol safely. The life-saving ammunition is ready for instant use. By employing the scout and messenger dogs to advantage, the patrol carries out a successful mission. The carrier pigeon helps us illustrate another job the messenger dog can handle. 2 pigeons go into a carrier specially designed by the Quartermaster Corps, and the explanation is clear. The homing pigeon is naturally just that, a one-way messenger flying from field to home. As the dog is a 2-way messenger, he can be used to transport the pigeons to the tactical unit operating away from the home base. The harnessing of the birds to the dog's back is very simple. By now, you've noticed the attention given to the dog's collar. It is important, for he's been trained to recognize it as his cue to run from one master to the other. Thus, the dog collar plays a major role in the successful use of the messenger dog. Incidentally, both masters have undergone careful training with the dog, and they alone handle his every operation. This demonstration proves that where pigeons are employed, the messenger dog fits in for delivery duty that frees soldiers or vehicles for other work. And the messenger dog can handle further tasks. As soon as this pigeon is released, we'll move on to still another assignment. A telephone switchboard in the combat area. and the need for additional lines over various short distances. So
See,
again,
we
the messenger
don't
dog gets
need
the call.
satellites
And now
and
that you're
crazy
actually
special
seeing it,
technology.
the whole
We
thing
need
appears
man's
so
best
obvious.
friend.
Yes,
Far
you just
more
equip
reliable.
The dog with a
Far more
harness
reliable.
which is designed to hold the loose end of the wire. And you've
I'm not
got
even
a
being
wire
sarcastic.
layer who will
That's-
ask
it's
no
a-
questions
honestly.
and show no concern over the risks involved. And here's still another case where a dog spares human life and limb the risk of crossing an area under fire.
You got it, buddy.
The noise of battle has no effect on the canine signal. As ever, rapid and reliable, the dog gets the line across the battlefield to his master. And you've been given an idea of the multiple jobs the messenger dog can handle. He humbly stands by as his master puts the first call over the newly connected
He humbly
phone line.
stands by.
And so, when you're talking about getting the message through, don't forget the messenger dog. He helped make this connection. Now, we join the medical corps and the search for casualties after a battle. Those who fall right in their tracks can usually be found quickly enough. But other wounded, before they lose consciousness, may have crawled to some hidden spot for safety. Some may be buried in the wreckage of a bombing. Naturally, prompt discovery of such victims is vital. The casualty dog is a life-saving answer. He's been trained to search a given area for casualties and report his discoveries to his master. Highly specialized traits identify this war dog. Excellent power of scent, endurance, uncanny sense of direction, and the keenest hearing. The casualty dog has found a stricken soldier who may easily have been passed up by a medical patrol.
And look how stoked he is.
Post-haste,
He's
back to where
stoked
his
on it.
master awaits him. The master fastens the leash to the dog's collar. Signal for the dog to lead him to the casualty. His mission a success, the dog's complete happiness is expressed in his every movement. A portrait of service, obedience, and devotion to the job. Within the limitations of this film, we've given you a brief insight into the new tactical employment of the war dog. The proven possibilities for his use go beyond what we have shown. Full advantage is being taken of the dog's natural attributes. He's ready to do a soldier's job. He's yours at your beck and call. Anxious to show that he's truly man's best friend.
Well, man, that was downright adorable. Amazing job, amazing job, man. I'm glad we watched that. I was looking forward to that one. All right, before I switch over to the second channel, which again, if you have not subscribed, just do me a favor and do it. Even if you want to leave notifications off, just be a bro. Be man's best friend. You know? And subscribe. I wonder if can you just do an @ in the chat for that? I don't know. Like let's see if it works. No, it doesn't work. I thought it might work. Why did they even add the new @ feature? If then we're gonna make it work. There we go. Swamp Plays. Check it out. This is what I'm going to be doing later. Here we go. The advertisement. Dynasty Warriors and Gundam. Two of my favorite things combined. And you know we're doing official mode playthrough missions based on official Gundam series. And of course, we're starting off with Amuro Ray. Let's do it. Yeah, I definitely have upgraded how that channel works. I think it looks pretty good now. Upgraded it to HD, so it's looking pretty good as far as all the graphics and all that stuff. All right. I don't know. We may do, at the very least, we're going to do one more film because I want to watch the city, as it's called. Let's see, what year was this put out? They do a really bad job on the National Archives YouTube channel of actually explaining or giving you actual dates. So I guess this was 1939. All right. Where is the description? Let's see. Healthy country boys ride hay wagons and run in fields, and pale city children play in a rail yard. I'm with it. Which is better, city life or country life? We've been asking this question since we started designing cities. So I guess this is supposed to be talking about the design of cities. Stresses the frantic tempo of city life. Shows a modern planned town. Contrasts the relaxed life with the hurried life. Oh, well, relaxed in the country. I don't know if that's exactly relaxed. That's a lot of work. I'd say more work than living in a city. But this also was 1939, so, I mean, who knows? But let's check it out. Don't forget, like the stream, and make sure you change the chat from top chat to live chat, because a lot of people who are here, YouTube doesn't like. And if you're on top chat, you won't see them. YouTube will mute them. You won't see it. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it works. So switch to live chat. Make sure you can see everyone who's talking, except for the people who are completely banned, obviously. And don't forget, if you're having a good time, send in a super chat. You can always send in on the PayPal link in the description if you don't want to give money to YouTube, which I understand, even though PayPal's kind of shitty too, but I guess they're a different kind of shitty than YouTube is. And of course, check out the merch store, link in the description. Hoodies and mugs and stuff. This is the last week or the last week and a half to get the merch that's in there right now. Yeah, last week. This coming week is the last week to get that merch. Everything is about to change on the merch store because I'm starting my first AR-15 build. So everything's about to switch over to gun-related merch. I don't think I have... let's see here. I know I've got it somewhere. Example of the stuff that I'm talking about. You know what? I'll just go to the... Here we go. there you go. Got some new hats coming out. Got a hat for the... so be armed, be dangerous, be moral. Got one with the 1911. Got one with the AR-15. Got one with a shotgun on it. And also a t-shirt. Let's see here. Where is it? Where is it? There you go. Also a t-shirt with the hats as well. That will be available starting next month as I begin my first build of an AR-15. I just ordered my first lower receiver for an AR-15, so I'm starting the build. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. All right, let's find out the differences between living a real life, otherwise known as living in the country, versus living in a city circa 1939. It's funny how I can just immediately already like something because of looking at the film and seeing it black and white. I assume it's probably better than any nonsense that Hollywood is putting out or any of that crap. I don't even need to know what we're about to watch. I already like it. This whole week I've been watching a bunch of 40s and 50s films. Last night I just watched The Day the Earth Stood Still, which, as I talked about earlier, is one of the best films ever made. So I'm already... It was starting this last week that's got me primed for watching all this old vintage stuff. It's great. And you know what? The fashion was 10 times better. That's it right there. That's how a man should dress. Son of a bitch.
century or two ago, we built our church and marked the common out. We raised the town hall next, so we could have our say about the taxes, or whether we need another teacher for the school. When town meeting comes around, we know our rights and duties, and no harm if we disagree. In all that matters, we neighbors hold together. We work from sun to dark, if you can call just work a job that helps make a body feel at peace while doing it, or hum a bit with pleasure when it's done. Art isn't something foreign we look at in a showcase. It's in the blankets that we've spun and woven right at home. It's in the patchwork quilts sewn by our daughters at a quilting bee for someone's bridal chest. It's in the locks and hinges that the blacksmith shapes. It's in the baskets that are woven in the neighborhood to fit our household needs, from marketing to mending. When water wheels are better fitted to do the work than human hands, we rig up the machines to saw the wood or grind the corn for hominy grits and johnny cake. A while ago, that corn was on the stalk, above the pumpkins, ripe and yellow. One night, the neighbors met to shell the ears together. They did the job in no time, so they could clear the old barn floor and choose their favorite partners for the dances. There was lasting harmony between the soil and what we built or planted there. We used our hands and mastered what we laid our hands on. Working and living, we found a balance. The town was us, and we were part of it. We never let our cities grow too big for us to manage. We never pushed the open land too far away. We youngsters took it in. The haying field, the mill, the daily chores were teachers. We old ones had good years of family life, our own, our children's. Mellow years before the ripe fruit fell, as fruit will drop on windless autumn days. And that was peace. The seed was ready for the earth again, ready to die, ready once more to grow. Inventions, power, black out the past. Forget the quiet cities. Bring in the steam and steel, the iron men, the giants. Open the throttle, all aboard, the promised land. Pillars of smoke by day, pillars of fire by night, pillars of progress. Machines to make machines, production to expand production. There's wood and wheat and kitchen sinks and calico, all ready-made in tons and carload lots. Enough for tens, thousands, millions, millions, faster and faster, better and better. It don't make us any happier to know there's millions like us living here on top of it. Prisons where a guy sent up for crime can get a better place to live in than we can give our children. Smoke makes prosperity, they tell you here. Smoke makes prosperity, no matter if you choke on it. We got to face life in these shacks and alleys. We got to let our children take their chances here with rickets, typhoid, TB, or worse. They draw a blank, the kids. They have no business here, this no man's land. This slag heap wasn't meant for them. There's poison in the air we breathe. There's poison in the river. The fog and smoke below rise up and choke us. don't tell us that this is the best that you can do in building cities. Who built this place? What put us here? And how do we get out again? We're asking. Just asking. We might as well stay in the mills and call that home. They're just as fit to live in. We mine the coal, load the furnace, roll the steel, drive the rivets. We lock the bolt on the assembly line. Lucky if we have the chance to keep the job from day to day, from month to month. Dirty work alone don't get us down. We're not ashamed to handle coal and iron all the way from mine shafts to skyscrapers. We turn out cars or tractors we're mighty proud of, same as you. But how does that make sense with this? We never get the gritty feel out of our nose, our eyes, our lungs, our guts. We never get a chance to see how blue the sky can be unless the mills are all shut down. Smoke makes prosperity, they say. Does this mean that there's no way out for us? There must be something better. Why can't we have it? A decent home. Follow the crowd, get the big money. You make a pile and raise a pile. That makes another pile for you. Follow the crowd. We've reached 1 million, 2 million, 5 million. Watch us grow, going up. It's new, it's automatic. It dictates, records, seals, sterilizes, stamps, and delivers in one operation without human hand. What am I bid? What am I offered? Sold. Who's next? The people, yes. Follow the crowd to the Empire City, the Wonder City, the Windy City, the Fashion City. The people, yes. The people, perhaps.
Very truly yours.
Most sincerely.
We beg to remain yours most respectful.
Dear sir, we
Gentlemen,
wish to acknowledge
having heard yours from the
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Containing your order,
We can't be so much as we are from our destroyed
Miss Smith, who's on call?
Dr. Nickel is on call.
Dr. Nickel. Dr. Nickel, crushed foot in the ward.
Get Dr. Liebman on second call. Another street case. Compound fracture of the tibia.
Can't locate Dr. Liebman.
Try the 8th floor.
Compound fracture of the tibia.
crushed leg, arterial supply gone, amputate above the knee.
sweet down.
With some white.
Two combo rye, Russian.
Come again?
Two combo rye, Russian.
Right.
Chocolate malted.
81.
Step with BT down.
Western, 1 up.
Burn one.
I'm actually just genuinely interested in this, so I'm not giving much commentary.
Internal hemorrhage from ruptured spleen. Type is blood. Put him in serious.
Yes, Dr. Brent. Average people walking on the street in the city are dressed way better than people who go to like award shows nowadays. I mean, look at these. Everyone is dressed fantastically. Man, those cars looked amazing. Why don't we have cool cars anymore? We don't have anything cool anymore, man. Those cars are awesome.
And this feels like as good a time as any to remind you, if you like the stream, please send in super chats, support it. Again, check out the merch, all that stuff. Make sure you like it. It's been a good night. Having a good time. Having a good time. Oh yeah, Bog. It seems like. Oh, sorry. Narration's back. Sorry.
This new age builds a better kind
Didn't
of
mean
city
to interrupt.
close to the soil once more, as molded to our human wants as plains are shaped for speed. New cities take form, green cities. They're built into the countryside. They're ringed with trees and fields and gardens. New cities are not allowed to grow and overcrowd beyond the size that makes them fit for living in. The new city is organized to make cooperation possible between machines and men and nature. Each has his place. The sun and air and open green are part of the design. Safe streets and quiet neighborhoods are not just matters of good luck. They're built into the pattern and built to stay there. Power flashes from pitheads or rapid streams across the region. It flows from powerhouses to the sunlit factories and laboratories. Here science serves the worker and the work together, making machines more automatic and the men who govern them more human. Factories are set apart from living quarters, but close to rail and motor roads, with space to spread about in. Light industries are near at hand. The heavy ones are set apart. People can even walk to work and have their lunch at home sometimes, just like the kids. This is no suburb where the lucky people play at living in the country. This kind of city spells cooperation, wherever doing things together means cheapness or efficiency or better living. Each house is grouped with other houses close to the school, the public meeting hall, the movies, and the markets. Around these green communities, a belt of public land preserves their shape forever. The children need the earth for playing and growing. Bringing the city into the country. Bringing the parks and gardens back into the city. Never letting cities grow too big to manage. Never pushing the meadows, fields, and woods too far away. This works as well for modern living as once it did in old New England towns.
This is a really interesting video because it's a lot of the people who were involved in designing, places like New York City and Chicago and stuff. They all had people who were writing about how they needed to design the cities properly because they were extremely concerned with the way the cities are now. They wanted to prevent the way the cities are now. They knew way back then that removing people from the idea of working hard in the sense of everything you have is something you made was very dangerous, and that human beings weren't going to be able to deal with that. They were talking about that when they were designing New York City. I mean, they were talking about this, in 1800s. It's definitely a very interesting thing to watch. This is a great film. mean, look at that. Do you see any even in suburbia? Do you see people growing their own food in their backyard like that? Not at all anymore. Not even close. You have people who act surprised when in COVID they shut down the. They said that truckers couldn't operate and that farms couldn't operate, and they were surprised that they couldn't find food at their grocery store. Because to them it was just magic. Food is just at the grocery store, man.
A decent kind of life. We fathers have a little time to watch our kids and play with them. They see us in the daytime. The people who laid out this place didn't forget that air and sun are what we need for growing, whether it's flowers or babies. Just watch us grow. The scales won't hold us soon. You can't tell where the playing ends and where the work begins. We mix them here. We learn by living. Playgrounds, schools, libraries are meant for everyone. Even the washing needn't break a woman's back. Machines can take it. And the wife needn't feel cooped up and lonely on washing day. A little gossip or a friendly hand is good for the complexion. The daily marketing's part of the fun. In fact, the market's just an annex to the kitchen. Another chance to chat about the children's measles or the weather, or some new wrinkle in the diet that Grandma never knew. One thing is sure. Most of the greens brought in by truck from nearby farms each morning are fresh and crisp and haven't lost their flavor or their youth. In this new scheme of things, the school becomes the center and the focus of activities. Here boys and girls live and relive the life around them, getting the measure of our bigger world and shaping it anew. City and school and land, in active partnership, provide the raw materials for life and growth. Here, boys and girls achieve a balanced personality, ready to build and meet a many-sided world, facing the good and
These
bad.
little kids right there in elementary school are dressed better than most adult men dress nowadays. I keep bringing this stuff up, but it's true. It's absolutely true. Why don't we want to be presentable anymore? It's really bizarre.
Take your choice. Each one is real, each one is possible. Shall we sink deeper in old grooves, paying for blight with human misery? Or have we vision, have we courage? Shall we build and rebuild our cities, clean again, close to the earth, open to the sky? Can we afford a house, a neighborhood, a city as good as this for everyone? Maybe the question is, can we afford all this disorder? The hospitals, the jails, reformatories, the wasted years of childhood. These are future citizens, voters, lawmakers, mothers, fathers. You take your choice. Each one is real, each one is possible. Order has come, order and life together. We've got the skill, we've found the way. We've built the cities. All that we know about machines and soils and raw materials and human ways of living is waiting. We can reproduce the pattern and better it 1,000 times. It's here, the new city, ready to serve a better age. You and your children, the choice is yours.
Well, I was not preparing for the end of that. I was I was just enjoying that too much. It makes me want to watch a little bit more. Man, I do want to play some video games. So if you haven't subscribed to the second channel, please do. Again, if anything, just to help me out. If you don't want to super chat, you can subscribe to the second channel to support. That'd be great. It's kind of inspired me. I kind of like, okay, what else we got? Maybe we should watch one more thing. We have from the National Archives, The Plow That Broke the Plains. That sounds pretty interesting. Let's see. Don't Be a Sucker. We watched that last week. Japanese Bride in America. That's actually one that I do want to watch eventually. But maybe that'll fit with the since we're getting into watching all of these archival footage, that I think I'm going to start doing maybe an additional stream, not just the Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday streams. Maybe do a Wednesday or Thursday stream, or we watch some of the stuff that because there's some really cool documentaries and stuff on here that are from the 40s and 50s. I think it would be great to watch. There's one that I really wanted to get into, which I talked about last Saturday, which was the Why We Fight, which is like a 10-part documentary from the late 40s about World War II. Really seems like it's really interesting stuff. I watched maybe about 10 minutes of the first installment, and it definitely seems really interesting because it's not what you get nowadays from, World War II history stuff. It's actually, this is from the time. This was stuff that was made when this stuff was going on and had just ended, Not that everything that we hear from the media and Netflix about World War II isn't just totally 100% accurate. I would never suggest that. But it could be interesting to hear the perspective from people who are maybe a little bit closer to the conflict than we are. Anyway, so let's see. We have The Plow That Broke the Plains. That sounds interesting. Oh, where's the one? I saw it earlier. There's a lot of really interesting ones about communism. Again, I haven't watched them. I want to watch them live on stream so we can watch them together. But there's a lot of old communist ones where they talk about the communist propaganda and the way that, what communism is and how it was attempting to infiltrate the United States, which we watched some of that last Saturday, and it's really interesting to see how much of that is 100% proven to be accurate. Absolutely 100% true, where they were speculating that the Soviets might be doing these things, and they might be trying to infiltrate our colleges, and might be trying to infiltrate Hollywood, and they weren't even talking about McCarthyism or anything like that. They were just talking about basic what our intelligence was telling us at that point, and it turns out all of it was true. Every single bit of it was true. So here, I'll put it to a vote. Should we watch? Oh, I found another one. Well, this is a short one. That's good. Let's get one that's maybe around 15 to 30 minutes long. I'll add this list. I just found one. Cavalry training in the United States from 1917 to 1918. That's definitely interesting. But let's say I'll put it up to the chat in a poll. Let's see here. Next film. Either The Plow That Broke the Plains, or Let me pull up the other one I had. Well, we went over the Negro Sailor last time. Maybe the Negro Soldier. That's another film. That could be interesting. All right. Well, these two are the same length. So let's go. The Negro Sailor is 40 minutes long, so that's a little bit longer. So that was a great film. The one that we didn't watch was the Negro Soldier. The Negro Sailor was the one we watched last week, which was great. That was actually a really great one. But I'm gonna put in the chat, The Plow That Broke the Plains or The Lady Marines. Let's go with that. They're about the same length. They're both about 25 minutes long. Yeah, they're both about the same length. So let's see what the chat has to say about it. While that's going, we can have a good time watching the most popular video from the National Archives, which is a video from a snafu video. Everyone's favorite snafu is the most popular video on the National Archives channel is Private Snafu in Censored 1944. This video has 9.4 million views, which is another thing that we could do a whole stream just watching all the snafu cartoons. I mean, I think that would be cool as well. But, you know, while letting the vote percolate a little, you know, see what people are feeling, let's watch the snafu. And of course, you know, this is short. This is like 4 minutes long.
Dear Sally Lou, this is it. They'll be shipping us out soon. From the equipment, it looks like the South Pacific. This is confidential. So I'm sneaking this past the censor. Way to the port of embarkation. They gave us shots for tropical diseases, so I know it's the South Pacific.
Oh, I guess I can turn off the subtitles since they're messing up. There we go. Sorry.
for fashionable. Is there a postman in the house?
Technical Ferry, first class, at your service.
You gotta get this to Sally Lou.
But have you forgotten the censor?
It's okay. We got a private code.
Well, if you insist. But I'll hate myself in the morning.
Now I can fight in peace.
Oh, Mother, guess what? My snafu in a big surprise move. Bingo Bango Island. Big surprise. Don't tell us soon.
Bingo Bango. A big surprise. Don't tell. Big move.
Keep this to yourself, but...
Yes, a surprise.
Man, Snafu's sharing secrets with the Tojo. The Tojo. There's a Tojo.
Boy, oh boy! We caught them with their pants down.
Ooh, that letter. What's the letter? Ooh, I gotta get it back. What's the letter? Could this be what we're looking for?
Like I always said, every man his own censor.
Looks very good. On the whole, yeah.
You know, it's a very interesting, fun thing. I was typing this out in the chat, but I guess I'll just say it. I really want to watch a lot more of all this World War II era stuff and pre-World War II era stuff, because obviously we've watched some stuff from the 30s and from the 40s, early 40s being World War II era, but it's going to take an investment of time to watch some of this, because I really want to watch the Why We Fight, which is, there's like 10 parts to this, and they're all about an hour or over an hour long. I think that would be really cool to do, but it's not necessarily something to do in the middle of, fun streaming and having a good time. It'll be for people who want to watch it with me, which I think there are some people, because as I've said on many different streams, I think one of the things I really want to do with this channel, given the music that I've done, if you check out the Bandcamp, and I really want to bring focus to American history and things that aren't necessarily taught in schools anymore. Some of it is taught in schools, but the way that I was brought up when I was in school, they kind of told you some of these things, but it was always in the context of white man bad, America bad, everything is bad. Here's what happened, but it's bad, everyone's bad. I'd rather go to the source and not lose our heritage as Americans. That means all colors. I don't care where you come from, as long as you are with the United States and actually understand the importance of this and you really feel this. Unfortunately, a lot of that's been bastardized and has been twisted into a lot of weird things. Most namely being woke leftism. But the vote says Lady Marines. We're going to watch the Lady Marines. The whole reason I even decided to do this whole thing about watching the National Archive, which is something I've been thinking about for quite a while, was, after retiring over the legal limit and wanting to find something else to do on Saturdays, was since I started this channel, everything, the Swamp logo, all this stuff has been traditional Americana style, you know, vintage style. You can see on the wall there behind me, Grandpa Jones and all that stuff is. Even people who are great commentators, great right-wing people who do a great job, like, you know, Matt Walsh and stuff, and they're not really spending a lot of time doing any kind of deep dive into Americana like this, like a real American culture of, like, you know, watching these films and stuff. And I get why they don't, because that's not what they do, you know. But I can do that here. We can have a good time watching things that are real American history, real American culture, in the sense that let's just watch it. Let's just see what they have to say. Let's see what they did. You know, people can talk about things all day, but I think it's very interesting to watch this stuff. Like I said, the music that I've done through the Swamp Bandcamp is, most of it has been covers of stuff from 1910s up to 1920s, 1930s, which is exactly what we need to be focusing on, because we don't teach this stuff in schools anymore. No one even knows about this stuff. Which has been great when I had people comment on things, you know, America, I Love You, when I did that song and all that stuff. The few people who are like, oh, I remember singing this when I was a kid. Where did it go? It's like, absolutely. I'm 32 years old, and I wasn't even finding some of this stuff until I was in my mid to late 20s, which is crazy because this is American history. You'd think that we would all have heard or seen these things, but no, we've been completely removed from our own history, our own nation. So I think it's really important. I'll get off my soapbox on this one. If you wondered why I do what I do, that's it. I think that a lot of this is really important, just to see what our great country, where we've been, what it means, who we are. So let's do it. Let's watch The Lady Marines. Hit it, National Archives. Oh, and before we hit it, make sure you like the stream, and of course, Super Chats help support the channel. Activate the Super Chat jukebox. If you don't want to use the Super Chat jukebox, you can send the money through PayPal, which will also still activate the Super Chat jukebox, because I get a notification saying you did so. So you'll still get your own song. And of course, get the merch before the merch switches to all the gun merch. Or wait until it switches to the gun merch, because you want gun merch. As any true American would. All right, let's do it. Lady Marines.
Naval guns. War is a Marine dive bomber. War is a Marine raider. Ask the Marine about war. He'll tell you it means attack. Attack by the Paramarine. Effective, deadly. Attack by tank. Swift, decisive. Attack, attack, attack. That's the credo of the fighting Marine. But today, war is a complicated business. It takes more than a paramarine, a raider, a tank, a mortar squad to win a battle. It takes more than planes, more than sharpshooters, more than spirit and guts. Somewhere between the battlefront and the home front, a tremendous machine of administration is in operation 24 hours a day. The Herculean task of providing proper transportation for troops, of making out reports, of classifying and transferring the thousands of new Marines. The success of a battle 7,000 miles away depends on these people who sort and file away and punch out millions of paper bullets every day. The job of keeping a war machine running efficiently requires the services of thousands of Marines. So vital is this job at home that thousands of fighting men, despite their intensive and valuable training, may never smell the tang of battle. Something had to be done about it. Something had to be done about wasting this highly capable warrior. Bataan and Corregidor had become legends. Wake Island had been branded into history with an indelible iron. A Marine writes his dear sirs with a howling machine gun, and they're addressed to Japs and Nazis. No question. Something had to be done about it.
And something was done about it. No one doubted the essentiality of the work at home. At the same time, no one could doubt that a Marine who wasn't fighting was a wasted Marine. The solution to the riddle was a bombshell, the birth of the Marine Corps Women's Reserve. Born February 13th, 1943, of necessity, the women Marines mushroomed into a sizable force of eager, full-fledged reserves who were ready to step into the breach. In July, Camp Lejeune at New River, North Carolina, became the official training headquarters for women Marines. From the plains, the mountains, the cities, have poured a constant stream of women. From Compton, California, from Pawnee City, Nebraska, from Marysville, Missouri, from Gloucester, Massachusetts, they've come to do a job.
We're from Texas, too. Rode on the train 4 days before we pulled up at Camp Lejeune. And mind you, 3 of those traveling days were not in Texas. The Marine Corps band was there to meet us at the station, and that was nice. There were also a couple of women sergeants to meet us, and that was, well, that was nice, too. Somebody said the colonel was there, and I was just beginning to wonder, and then I saw him. That's his dog, the Scotty. Eyes front. I could tell from that first day I was going to like the Marine Corps. One thing a Marine learns right away is how to stand in line. There was a Marine driving the bus, and I thought, one of these days I'll be driving this bus, and he can send back postcards from Tokyo, and I'll give him my address before he leaves. After we got squared away, which means to set up housekeeping in the barracks, we met the chaplain. You know, some of us had never been away from home before, and, well, just knowing there was someone you could have a man-to-man talk with, no matter what your religion was, well, it felt like home, that's all. Some people think a woman consists of a pair of silk stockings and a smile, but not the Marine Corps. They look through you with one of those x-rays, and they want to know if you're all there. Everybody knows the thing a Marine likes to do best, next to fighting, is eating, and that means have you got good teeth. They don't exactly care about the color of your eyes. They want to know, can you see with them? When I left home, Mom said to look up a doctor if I felt even the least little bit sick. Well, Mom can stop worrying. Here, the doctor looks you up. By the time you're fingerprinted, and you've looked at the birdie, well, you don't have to show it to anybody. At last, after you've begun to think that time will never really come, it's there. The uniform. Oh, golly, I never thought I'd want to wear the same thing as any other girl, but, well, I almost bawled when I put on my first suit of GIs. All the enlisted girls are given $200 allowance for clothing, and that means 2 winter service uniforms, hats, shoes, summer outfits, purses, a wool-lined raincoat that'd cost one of you civilians $41. Then there's a lot of theses and thoses and thingamajigs, you know. Drop around sometime and I'll let you romp through my locker. The women Marines take a great pride in their appearance, and we have our uniforms tailored to fit us, which is a little different from the men who have to tailor themselves to fit the uniform. Some girls never had any special training, but the Marine Corps has a way of finding out what you can do best. And that's where 2 years of high school or business school come in handy. They want to know not only how much you know and how fast you can think of it, but also how fast you can learn it. My very dear friends, this is a GIDI, government-issued drill instructor to you. He says something like, you look to wee rump, you look to wee rum, you look to wee rump. What he's really saying is 1, 2, 3, 4, you left 2, 3, 4, rear march. But if he said that, everybody could understand him. We looked something like this our first week. You really can't imagine how many left feet you have until you begin to drill. You're taught how to walk all over again. Underneath, he's really a very understanding man.
Did you ever hear of a Marine drill instructor who was a perfect lady? Then meet Corporal Winton.
Right oblique, march. Forward, march. 1 up, reap for your left, right, left. Left flank, march. Right flank, march.
The Marine is not only first to face the enemy, he's number 1 on the drill field. You may wear a rut in the field. You may have to resole your shoes a couple of times, but you learn to march the Marine Corps way. However, it's not all thunder and double time in boot camp. There are times when you get a chance to become acquainted with your mates. You smoke a cigarette, listen to the other girls talk. Maybe you tell them about the boyfriend in the Solomon Islands. You answer the best gift the folks back home can give you, a letter. You find out that Pa is getting ready for the spring planting. Ma's got a blue star up in the window for you. Your kid brother is going to graduate from grammar school. It's a piece of home. It's not only permitted, it's encouraged. After all, a girl has to keep up her morale. Make sure the fingernail polish matches the hat cord in color, though. Then suddenly one day, it's there. The last inspection of your boot life. The colonel and captain and lieutenants are there. Everything's got to be shipshape. Shoes like a mirror. Locker box neat and orderly, and your Adam's apple under control. You suddenly realize that women in uniform have a great responsibility. You're in the spotlight. You're not Susie or Mary or Jane anymore. You're a Marine. Then, it's all over. That is, all except for one thing.
The last review. We learned a lot of things about drilling in 6 weeks. You can tell that by the rhythm of the step. You can feel all the heels hit the ground at the same time. The music beats out the cadence. Nobody calling out left, right. You don't need that anymore. It's hard to remember that little girl who got off the train 6 weeks ago and didn't know her port leg.
Man, look at all
from her
these
starboard.
people. I mean, seriously.
And they know we've got our marching legs on,
I keep bringing it
too.
up.
They can tell we're Marines and
But
good
it's
ones.
true.
By the time you're passing by the review,
Everyone's in
your
shape.
heart is doing nip
Do you
ups.
know the rate of
That's
people
one
who
time
are
you'll
actually
never
able to
forget.
pass basic
Your eyes get kind of misty.
physical fitness
You don't know what to do.
in the Army, let alone the Marines
Maybe
nowadays?
you can't see
It's
me,
crazy.
but I'm down there somewhere.
And downright
Pocket full
shameful.
of pride and all.
It is.
A boot no more. Private first class and a full-fledged Marine.
Saturday in camp is an American Saturday. The girls learn that life does not consist solely of drilling, lectures, and military routine. They are now permitted to exchange heartbeats with the men. The recreation hall is a stomping ground where the only face movements are done cheek to cheek and no sergeants to call cadence. It's an old, old story in a new setting. Thorough as is the recruit training, so too are the media for recreation. The finest equipment is on hand for use. Once a girl's boot training has been completed, a varied and interesting panorama is spread before her. An entire regimental area has been taken over for use by the women. The grounds are studded with green lawns and red brick buildings of permanent structure. Barracks, mess hall, classrooms, dispensary, motion picture house, post exchange, laundry, and tailor shop. A well-stocked library with a choice of the best in ancient and modern literature. Well do we know for what we are fighting. And here too, as in the broader sense, we worship as our conscience directs. Regardless of creed, or color, or sex. Far from home, alone, the woman Marine finds extended to her the friendly quietude of church services. A fervent prayer for those who have died, for those who shall live, for our cause, and the part we must play in it.
Up to now, the girls have only been getting ready for the job that's to come. For in order to better understand the task that lies before them, the women Marines are shown the weapons with which their mates are fighting this war. They learn from actual demonstration that this is no storybook war of chocolate soldiers. It's the real thing, just as theirs is a real job. A job offering little glory and a great deal of hard work. Sometimes wearisome work, but nevertheless a necessary part of the All-American team. And it's teamwork that's going to kick Tokyo for a field goal. The indoctrination period over, they now will be assigned to attend various schools. Known for efficiency in the field of battle, the Marine Corps lives up to its standard in the classroom. More than 15 schools teaching scores of subjects are turning out skilled craftswomen to take over jobs. The school courses range from 4 to 21 weeks and include an intensive period of training which will fit the woman Marine for the sort of work she has chosen. The girl often has her choice of subjects, which range from accountants to sheet metal workers to statisticians. For those few who have the necessary qualifications, is set aside the distinction of Officers' Candidate School. The gold bar of a second lieutenant weighs but an ounce. With it, however, comes a pound of tradition. This is the highlight in a candidate's life.
Those women who in civil life held down specialized positions will be placed in jobs immediately. Camp Lejeune boasts of the only post office in the country run completely by women. Experienced telephone operators are at a premium. Combat Signal Battalion Marines are needed at the battlefront, where their work is one of the most important cogs in the successful completion of a war task. The business of making words move across the face of the continent is waiting for those who have had training or can adapt themselves to this sort of work. Marines formerly buttoned down to jobs such as these have already been relieved in great numbers. Their postmark today is somewhere in the South Pacific. The fruits from that idea, born in February of 1943, begin to ripen. Women who have freed a Marine to fight have given a gift to the battle for freedom which cannot be counted in thanks or dollars. More than 11,000 men died on Armistice Day in 1918. If by lending their efforts, the women of America can end this war one day sooner, thousands of homes will welcome back men who might not otherwise return. There are scores of jobs in the Marine Corps for women, jobs which will permit our fighting man to get their firstest with the mostest. Jobs that require special skill, and jobs that require merely a native intelligence. With an eye not only to the war's end, but to a world in which women will move into new fields, many Marines are receiving a background with which they can carve a place in the America of tomorrow. For more than half the members of the Women's Reserve will be placed in aviation units. Before this war, a mere dozen
All right,
or
I'm
so
wondering,
women had made names for themselves
for
in the
everyone who's
field of
still hanging
aviation.
out, still in the chat, and the people in the Discord who are, you know, ghosting, you know, not actually in this, but are watching.
They'll talk the same language when it's farewell.
You know, I always push off the gaming stuff because I mean I like playing games, but I'm not always, you know, I hardly ever play games. I'm thinking maybe the games should just be their own stream entirely, or maybe I'll play it tomorrow after church or something. Let me know. Would you be interested? If people are not interested in this, then I'll just go over and play some games and have a good time. But if you're interested, well, end this stream and then watch the first installment of the Why We Fight documentary, and watch that and talk about that. But let me know in the chat and in the Discord. If you're just not feeling it in general, I'm just going to play games, which means I'm going to play music and hang out and just screw around. But if you're digging this, you know, archival footage, maybe I'll end this stream and we'll start the first installment of the Why We Fight, which, like I said, is that's an actual documentary. It's over an hour long. It's like an hour. The first one I think is like an hour and 15 minutes or something like that. So let me know if you're feeling it. If you're not feeling it, we'll play some games.
Yours and mine. This is our war, and the victory too shall be ours. Here is your new fashion for victory. Our women Marines.
Yeah, let me know. I mean, we're talking about it in the Discord as well. It seems like people are really digging the archival footage, you know, digging the old stuff, which I was kind of worried this was going to happen, because when I decided I was going to do, you know, start the stream with the National Archives, hard right turn into gaming seemed kind of weird. Yeah, I think I just need to keep them completely separate as far as you know, any given day, instead of it because I'm feeling it now too. I kind of want to keep watching some you know, let's start it. Let's start the Why We Fight documentary. I mean, I guess I got to shift and add some different days into the stream, since things are changing a little bit more as far as the content of the streams, which is great. I'm having a good time. I do miss Over the Legal Limit. I'm sure there's people out there who also miss Over the Legal Limit. Maybe we'll add that into just the Discord. We'll just hang out in the Discord maybe once a week or something, and play music and have a good time with that. But yeah, I really wanted to shift to the Swamp Plays. But I'm just not sure that that's the right thing to do right now. Like I said, if you don't mind, even if you're not into the gaming stuff and it's not your thing, if you could just do me a favor and subscribe to it, turn off notifications, doesn't affect you at all. I mean, you don't get notifications, but it helps me. So if you can follow the link I put it in the chat a few times, but that's way gone now. But it's in the description of this stream. Just subscribe to it and turn off notifications if you're not into gaming. I know there's quite a few people who are into it, so I appreciate that. But yeah, it feels weird to shift gears that hard. To go over to Gundam and Dynasty Warriors. But yeah, I can put it in the chat one more time. Let's see if YouTube will let me do it. Sometimes YouTube doesn't like you putting links in the chat, but if it's YouTube, a YouTube link, they're sometimes they're okay with it. Let's see if it works. It worked earlier. There we go. All right, it popped up. Okay, cool. Yeah, even if you're not into it, if you could just subscribe to it. Again, it's the second channel. I play games on there sometimes. I think it's been like 6 months since I've played anything on there, but I'm gonna try to get back into. I do like playing games, but I'm also an adult, so I don't do it all that often. But that one is even more casual than what this is. The living room stream has taken over for the Over the Legal Limit stream. That was a whole different thing, but honestly, I like this one better. I think that this is a lot more in line with what I want to do with this channel. Over the Legal Limit stream just started because I had just started streaming, and I only had maybe, I don't know, somewhere between 800 and 1,000 subscribers at the time, and I just started. Well, I guess don't you need 1,000? I can't remember what the threshold is for streaming, but it was right when I was able to start streaming. And we did it where I had a camera on a campfire, which was a lot of fun, and I was just playing music. So it kind of came out of something that was just screwing around. But I think this fits this channel much better. It's definitely what I always intended for this channel, as a, learning about America and, the culture war stuff. And like you said in the chat, you said the libs of TikTok thing. David, when you were talking about that, is obviously I do that. I mean, that's the videos and the Friday stream. I mean, like the culture war stuff. But I think all that stuff is connected inextricably to American culture, Americana, and what we're doing here. I think it's the same thing, because if you're able to talk to any of these people that we just watched tonight, I'm pretty sure they'd have the same opinions that I do. They'd say, "Wait, you're telling me that you live in a country where they say that a man with a penis is a woman?" Yeah, I don't think that's no, that's not real. that's utter nonsense. So we get a lot of, the leftist media, they control everything. At least here we can have a good time, have fun, watch some archival footage. So let's do it. Let's watch. Let's start the Why We Fight documentary. I'm going to end this stream because this is in the living room stream segment, on the playlist and all that stuff, where we watch a lot of fun stuff. I want the World War II documentary stuff to be its own thing, so we can always, you see it separate. So, gonna end this stream. Check your phone, your computer, your notifications, whatever. The next stream will start right after this, and we're just gonna watch the documentaries, or watch the part one. We'll say it's like an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes or something like that. And thank you, David. I appreciate it. Anyone who's watching, if you haven't subbed to the second channel, just in general, it helps me out to pump up the numbers. I appreciate it. And of course, if you haven't liked the stream, like the stream. And super chats activate the super chat jukebox. Joining the Discord activates friends, which are the pinned comment. Get in the Discord. Super chat jukebox is always random. Let's see it again. Just to preview if anyone's watching this later. Super chat jukebox. Go.
Police chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good. Oh, they're so sweet.
So yeah, super chat jukebox, always a good time. All right, so we're gonna end this stream and come back with a new stream to watch these World War II documentaries. Thank you guys for hanging out. Hopefully you'll come back as the next documentary starts. I'll see you guys in a little bit.